I was lost in the shadows, trapped in a maze of my own. The world felt so heavy, and I was fighting it alone. But in the silence, I heard a call. A whisper so gentle, so small. A flicker of hope, a flicker of light, leading me out from the darkest night.
Hello, everyone, and I'd like to welcome you to Guided Paths. Here, we are a light on your pathway so you can lead into peace, prosperity, and your authentic self. So I'm here today with my lovely, lovely sister, Andrea, and I am telling you, she has been such a blessing in my life. And I believe that that she's my daughter from another life, past life as well. We have such a bond and a connection that is amazing. And I believe that her spirit and her gifts will be also a gift unto you. And so first, Andrea, tell us a little bit about you and your mission and what led you into the spiritual space.
Oh gosh, it's Nickey, Mama Nickey. That is so true. We talk about that on our connection. Like Nickey said, I'm Andrea Robinson. On social media, I am Coach Andrea. Gosh, Lee, I started on my spiritual journey like in 2017. And I grew up, I can talk and talk and talk. So let me give you snippets, right? So I grew up in the Pentecostal Holiness Church. And so for you guys that don't know about like Pentecostal, we went by the Old Testament. And so there were different things that we had to follow, different um, like we can't wear makeup, we couldn't wear pants, the females and different things, right? Okay, fine. So, but I really went to church with my grandmother a lot. She would take me and all my cousins. If you're from the South, you probably did the same thing. It was just a thing that we did. And so I always had questions about God, but you know, you couldn't ask those questions because you might seem like you talking back or you're not supposed to question people about religion or God at that. And so that took me on a roller coaster while until I was old enough to make my own decisions. And I just started exploring spirituality. I took different courses, different things would happen to me in my life. I would see numbers. I would have deja vu a lot. I would be places and just know things, and I didn't really understand it all until 2017. I was pregnant with my daughter, and I know that's what it started my spiritual awakening. Shoot, now that I think about it, hell, it might have been my daughter that that helped me. I hear stories about that, but anyways, and so um, that took me to exploring different facets of things that I've always been interested in. I started studying metaphysics. I started going to workshops. I started meeting other like-minded people in the community. But I felt something was missing for me, and I didn't know what it was. Like, I felt like I needed to dive deeper into my roots, like ancestrally, but I didn't know, that's what I was looking for is connecting to my ancestors, right? And so things started coming my way and people started joining these other communities. And so then I met my mentor at the time, who's still my mentor. He's out in Georgia. And he helped me to develop my gifts. He saw, I believe it always takes somebody. It doesn't always. Some people can naturally, organically evolve into who they are supposed to be, but there are some people that need guides, right? Or to help them. And this young man had came into my life when I was searching, and we just bonded and formed a relationship. And he started to help me bring out my gifts because he could see things that, a normal person's eye couldn't see, right? And so he helped me bring out my mediumship, my psychic, um, and just was telling me how I'm clairvoyant, all these things. I'm like, what are you talking about? Again, remember, I grew up in religion. So I'm like, what you mean mediumship? Like, I
Right,
can
right.
talk, I can talk to basically dead people. Like,
Right. That was my response too, because I remember the movie The Sixth Sense. And I was like, I
yo,
I did not want to see dead people like that little boy did. So I understand.
right.
Yes.
Right, because like I used to always be afraid of the dark. Literally, I would always sleep. I would either have to have a night light, a lamp, TV, something. Even in my adult life, I literally have to sleep with something on. Even if somebody's in the room with me. Now the dark, now I embrace the dark, that's the
Mhm.
spirit realm. So but I used to always fear the dark, and so, well, fast forward, I'm in my mediumship, I'm taking classes, I'm going, meeting people that are coming to me, and I just, just starting to feel these things that I'm like, wait a minute, this is kind of like deja vu, but I'm like actually having a conversation with people that I know nothing about, but like they're showing me their life and things they went through and closures they want to do. And I'm like, this is real. Like, you can't tell me this is real. But growing up, my learned behavior in church, in religion, I feared that because that was, oh, you can't talk to dead people. Ghosts are evil or demonic or whatever they would label it. And but I'm like, but I'm not an evil demonic person. And so, but I had to unlearn everything that I learned to even walk in my spiritual journey, because there were so many things embedded and rooted in me. And I was afraid, honestly, like for so many years of saying things and using my voice because of being judged.
Right.
Um, but in the
So
walk of
I want to
spiritual,
ask you a question
hmm
about when you were in the church. And
hmm
so being in church and having this question mark when you're hearing things what's being taught and you're having this question mark, was there something in you, regardless of the backlash that you will receive, or the adults telling you, hey, you don't ask those questions, you don't do this, you don't do that, you just follow. But it sounds as if you had like this spark or this fire to know more. It's more than
hmm
this. Tell me a little bit
yes.
about that.
So I was always curious. I always asked a lot of questions. I mean, my mother and father would tell me, when you get older and you have kids, you'll understand. They would always use that. So I was just always curious, like, well, would would God really judge me if I wore pants? Those were the questions that I found myself asking. Well, but God is love. And God, you mean if I like lie, even use the word lie, because I couldn't use the word lie back then, but
Right, right.
does that make me a bad person if we're born into sin already in this world? Am I a sinful person? Like, so those would be just questions. Oh, and when I was a little girl, I used to have what I thought was nightmares. My nightmares would literally be wars
Mm-hmm.
in what I perceived as heaven. because there were what do you call those, like horses, but they had like human bodies.
Yeah, oh
Um,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
oh, I
It's on
cannot think
it's on
of the
the tip of my
name.
tongue, but I know what you're
So
talking about.
yeah, but these were actually like horses with human bodies and they had wings. And then there would be what I would call demons in
Mhm.
there. But they were battling. It was like a spiritual war. Like, I mean, I had that nightmare at the time again because I was young. I thought it was a nightmare that just freaked me out. And so I literally prayed and asked God to take the nightmare away from me because I didn't understand it. So anyways, I always knew there was something that just didn't make sense to me
Mhm.
in religion because that to me put God in a box, right? Oh, and so also again, I asked a lot of questions, right? In my you had to be baptized and receive the Holy Spirit to even enter into the kingdom of heaven. That's
Mhm.
what I was taught. So I remember being in high school and I asked a friend of mine who he was Baptist, right? Because in my spirit, I'm like, if somebody's on their deathbed and they're a good person, but they just never went to church or they never, you know,
Mhm.
did anything like that, but they were a good person and had a good heart and had good character. Are they really damned to hell? Was their
Mhm.
soul going to go to hell? And I
I
was
think that's
having,
a question that
mhm,
is very present in a lot of the collectives right now because the religious section is falling apart.
yes.
And people are asking questions. I was the Y kid as well. And
Hmm.
in my little piece of my journey, I was Baptist. So, and here's the thing, my mother grew up Methodist and my grandmother was like, you
Hmm.
living in my house, you going to church. So my mother left the house. She decided that she didn't want to do that to her kids. She let us decide. So it was like at 12 is when I decided to go to church. And I ended up going to a Baptist church. And so in that, I asked questions too. I literally got put out of the Bible study class because I asked questions and it was like, we're not on that. And it was just irritating. And I was asked to leave because I was disturbing the class. But I actually read the Bible and one
Hmm.
was not equaling two. So I was asking just trying to get clarity. I wasn't trying to be malicious or anything like that. And so I believe that the collective is at a point right now that they are asking questions. But
Yes.
the elders of the families, the big mamas and aunties and grandmas, you can't really go to them because they tell you they're in a generation where you ask no questions.
Yep.
But as the generations go, they evolve. And I feel like the collectives are now asking for truth. So here's a little bit of truth in that. The Bible that was given to us is 85% truth, 15% manipulation.
Hmm.
And the reason why it's mixed like that is one, they're not allowed, the fallen ones are not allowed to blatantly lie to us. And this is a free will planet. And so instead of, they have to tell us the truth. So a lot of the truth is in our face, but they also put a shield over it. That's the manipulation. So it gets
Hmm.
you to be confused. But if you're confused on you because they say, see, we put the truth there amongst the other million of things where you really have to try to figure it out. But to their defense, they say, hey, the truth is there. It's up to them to figure it out. And so in that manipulation with knowing the facts, even reading the Bible now, there's a scripture, and I can't tell you where it was, even though I was a minister once upon a time, but it was you read the scriptures in spirit and in truth. And when
Mm.
you do that, what does that mean? You're connecting to God, source, the universe, whoever, whatever you want to call. You connect to source when you get ready to read. And you ask for truth. You ask for clarity. You ask for knowledge and you ask for understanding.
Mhm.
And then as you're reading, the truth will jump and slap you in the face. If it's manipulation, it would sound so stupid. It's like, what? This doesn't even make sense. And so that's what you were experiencing because you were asking your questions. That was the same thing that I was experiencing. And I believe that the collective is experiencing the same thing. So I'm here to tell you, you're not crazy.
Mhm.
You are being guided out of that matrix, that program, because the
Yes.
religion is a program. That's another truth that you need to understand. We were born into a program. They'll
Yeah.
say you were born into sin. No, you were born into a program. You were not born into sin.
Mm-hmm.
Born into a program to keep you from knowing who you are.
You are. Yep.
And so it's like, you've heard the saying that, life is nothing but a game.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And when they say that, they do a giggle, giggle, laugh, laugh, so you don't believe
Mhm.
that. But that's the truth. Life is a game.
Yeah.
So when you're playing a game, you play to win. But how do you win? By knowing the rules,
Yes.
knowing how to get like, what do they call, you can call them glow ups, rewards, how to get
Mm-hmm.
those activations, whatever you want to call them, and then know the opposition. Who is coming against you? Who's the villain in the story? Same thing with life. Who's
Yeah.
the opposition? The opposition created the program,
Mm-hmm.
created the manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So playing this game called life, understanding the universal laws. They're there. Google them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. You're
Mhm.
so right about the matrix. I was like, I'm out of the matrix. Literally, like, you know how we talk about like quantum leaping and
Yeah.
jumping, like seeing portals and like my it's like I'm seeing through my eyes. It's like
Mhm.
I don't know, the veil, the
The
covers,
veil has lifted, the
the
rose-colored
veil.
glasses have come off. You can see the bullshit. So
Yes, I can see the
you can,
bullshit.
you can see it
Literally.
all. The blinders are
And
gone.
even to like how we met. We met in the priestess portal,
Mhm.
right? And that was just this year, 2025, earlier this year. And what I will say is that helped me honestly walk into my divine feminine. That's
Yeah.
really when I quantum leaped even because I was always giving, 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 doing, not using my voice because I didn't want to be seen as this or be seen as that. But I was really afraid of my power and
Yes.
didn't understand that's what it was.
hmm hmm I tell
You
you
can't
that,
tell me shit now. I
that
mean, we may have to bleep that out, but
that part. Well, I don't sugarcoat shit, so we all right. That part. So let's talk about quantum leaping and timeline jumping. Because I'm hearing from the collectives like, what is that? And how do you do that?
Mhm.
Well, you are living simultaneously timelines. How do you timeline jump? By making a decision.
Mm.
When you
Yeah.
make a decision, you're changing directions, but you're jumping to the timeline that lines up with that decision. And
Mhm.
I mean, I quantum leap. I mean, I timeline jump quite often. Soon as
Oh.
I make a decision, and I feel it. I feel the shift. I feel, everything around me starts to mold to the decision that I have made. The energy shifts, the environment changes, everything. Now, quantum leaping. Quantum leaping is like jumping over a ton of timelines where where you started, you do not look the same or where you're ending. And see, this is how you know that you're about to quantum leap. One is
Yep.
the antsy thing. You feel a little bit antsy. And like, for example, we met in a priestess portal. And in the portal, at the end, we had a retreat. For literally 2.5 weeks before the retreat, I was getting antsy.
Yeah.
Like when you're a kid and you're going to Disney, your parents say you're going to Disney, you've never been before, you're so excited and you're just antsy, you like, I can't wait, counting down the day. You're on the calendar, counting down the days. That's what it feels like. That was the excitement, like something big gonna happen. Something big, what it is, something big gonna happen. Okay, so that's one thing that you would feel. The next thing, stuff is gonna start coming up.
Yes.
The things that you need to release, you need to heal, any remnants, just anything that cannot go with you to where you're quantum leaping. And don't be afraid. Don't try to push it down. See, I call that pushing it down the red door. We're not putting no shit behind that red door. No, we're not putting anything behind that. We're not going to hide it. We're not going to push it off to the side, out of sight, out of mind. That don't work. That's a lie.
Gotta face it. Yep.
So as it's coming up, deal with it. Push it out. Because if you don't, you won't quantum leap. You won't get the gifts. You won't get the blessings. You won't get all your shit on that end. You won't get it. So that's another thing, is to deal with that. Whatever you need to release, whether you need to come terms to, whatever it is, deal with that. And then the final part, right, excuse me, right before you quantum leap, you feel disconnected. It's like you're in a void.
Yes.
Where you were, it don't resonate with you. You're like, it doesn't resonate. But you're not connected to nothing yet either. So it's like limbo. And don't feel like something's wrong or the tower is coming or you're falling apart. No, that's part of the process. What's happening is you're cutting cords from previous timeline. And feeling like you're in limbo, it's like, I'm not connected to nothing. You're now about to start connecting cords to the new timeline. And I mean, it can be as go to sleep and you wake up, you've quantum leap. You will look different. I look totally different from even when I went to Salem and back. When I started the portal, when we started together, I don't look the same. And so quantum leaping is a phenomenal thing because your gifts come online or they elevate, they get broader. You might get some new gifts coming in. Things start happening. Your manifestations come in faster. The more you quantum and get and where are you quantum leaping to? I heard that question. Collective is like, where are you quantum leaping?
Yes.
Towards your highest self.
So that's such divine timing, because I was also hearing, what is it like? How do you even discern or know that you have a gift? Or know that you have a calling? Like, how do you know that versus you going crazy, right? Like, I know that's such a broad question, but that's just festering in my mind. Like,
that's on point. I've had my gifts. Who activated me first? My grandmother when I was 6 years old. I went to church with her. It was like a midday Wednesday service. And as we're going to the service, the pastor's up there. He's talking about the sick and shut in, right? And how we need to pray for them and do this and that for them. And my little 6-year-old wise self, I asked why about everything. I asked my granny, I was like, why God got these people sick and they shut in? Can he heal them?
Right.
And my granny looked at me, well, why don't you ask yourself? I was like, oh, I could ask myself. I can have, and from that moment on, I've had my conversation with God. Any question that I had, I've always had that conversation. So I say that because some people have been in their gifts, operating them, and did not know it.
Yes.
My clear cognizant, just me knowing, it was some things that I know not to be around. I know not to go to. Some people say it's just a feeling, a gut
A
feeling.
feeling, yes.
That's God, that's source letting you know, don't go that way. Don't,
Mm-hmm.
watch that person. I would feel all of that. That is a gift that is online. And the more you pay attention to it,
Mm-hmm.
the more it will expand. Now, I can tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't listen to it all the time.
That part. Oh my gosh. We
Oh my
can't, that's a
goodness.
whole nother podcast.
Oh, that's right. I didn't listen to it, but I tell you this, I came back crying. I'm so sorry. I should have listened and I learned. And so I'm right there, just a little pinpoint. When you get these feelings, these urges, these directions, these nudges, and you ignore it, what is actually happening in the spirit realm? You are coming at a crossroad
Yes.
and you have a choice. Because remember, this is a free will planet. You will not be forced to do anything. The choice is
Yes.
always yours. You have a choice to learn the lesson and the sin,
Mm.
or you can ignore it like I did sometimes. And it went to a loop.
And what, yes.
You will come right back around to that same crossroad. And
Yep.
now let me tell you, does this resonate with you? I would say, why am I going through the same shit? It might be different people, different places, but it's the same thing. What am I doing? And
That's
that's
why I said deja vu.
it's that
Yes.
crossroad, doing that loop. So I'm
Yes.
telling the collective, stop doing that shit. Learn it the first time.
Yes.
Because if you gotta
Yes.
learn it again, it's gonna be worse. You don't want to go through that.
Yes. And that is part of knowing that you are frequency wise. If you keep going through the same toxic or negative situation that's on a lower frequency, at some point, like you said, you either got to deal with it, become aware of it, and ask, all right, why am I, what lesson is it that I'm supposed to learn? And every time you find out, once you keep going and keep being obedient and working through that, you will see why those loops happen, because there was something that you just did not clear or you
Yeah.
didn't listen to. And one thing that that was just revealed to me not too long ago, I used to be a dreamer. I used to dream a lot. And then my dream stopped, right? And I was in a class with one of my mentors, and he mentioned, I may not be saying this verbatim, but he said, a lot of the times people dream because when you close your eyes, you are in the spirit world. Even like, that's why I talk, I always tell people I talk with my eyes closed, because I feel so
Mhm.
much more connected and
Mhm.
clearer with my eyes closed. And so, and more focused than when my eyes open. So anyways, he said, when your eyes are closed or even when you blink, you are in the spirit world. So when you go to sleep, dreams, if a person is constantly dreaming, there is something that you're not doing that your spirit guides or the most high can't get to you in your waking life. So it
Yes.
comes
Yes.
to you in your dreams.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Mhm.
yo, that was such a big light bulb for me. And he
Mhm.
said, for me, that's why you don't dream anymore, because you're walking alignment. And that's also a tool for me to know when something's off, because a lot of my visions or messages or things would come to me dream, but I wasn't being obedient and saying
Mhm.
anything to people, or, because of for whatever reasons. And so then I would keep dreaming and dreaming. And so spirit was like, you need to start being obedient. So now, because y'all, let me tell you, I speak on everything that I see, smell, hear, because it's just gotten me into who I am now. And so now what happens, it'll come to me right before I wake up because
Mhm,
spirit knows I'm going to be obedient and call
mhm.
that person, reach out to that person, have that conversation, not do what I thought I was going to do ego-wise.
Right, right.
Because
That's a whole
it's
other
not,
thing right there, ego.
yes, because it's not aligned. It's just
Mhm,
not, And so, um, yeah, it's just so beautiful how the journey unfolds and
mhm.
how, embracing that gift.
I just heard like with the
Oh,
collectives, like, am I crazy? No, you are not.
right. No, you're not.
No, you are not. I saw a video, I think it was on TikTok, where a young lady was asking like a group of her friends in college about the voice she hears in her head. It's not her
Mhm.
voice, but she hears a voice in her head. And it encourages her and do all these things for her, help her work things out. And they're looking at her like, you hear voices in your head. We don't have that. And so she was like, oh, I thought everyone had it. And I resonate with her because I was like, I thought everyone had it too. My cheerleader is in my head. But you know who that voice is? That voice is your higher self source. And
Mhm.
so they're there to guide you, direct you. And the more you listen, the more direction and the more in depth they will be in order to guide you. There's
And I
something.
just want to add
Mhm.
those voices, the way a person can have discernment, if it's not coming from a frequency of love, that
That
ain't the right, that's
that's not the
not,
voice. Mhm.
let me, people.
Yeah, put that there. If the voice is not full of love, because God, source, universe, the creator,
Yes,
highest frequency is love.
is
So if it's
love.
not
Yes,
talking to you in betterment or to try to encourage you, to try to uplift you,
yes.
that's your highest self. So you're not crazy.
Right.
Things, things are
Well,
being, the program has suppressed so
yes,
many things that are more real than what the program is.
yes.
And so let's talk a little bit about the program because the program is the game. So if you looking at the program and let's talk about television. What's on
Mhm.
TV? You see
Ugh.
the news. The news always talk about something bad, something murderous, something to bring you down into fear, into shame, into guilt, into
Seclusion.
anger. Yes, and that too. And
Hmm.
those are low frequencies. So
Yes.
if they keep the collective in a low frequency, they're siphoning that energy to keep portraying the program, the illusion. And how
Hmm.
are they doing that? So if they show you so much things that are fear-based, and then you end up being so afraid to do anything.
Yes.
You're in isolation. You just go to work and come home and that's it.
Yeah.
You're not meant to be alone. You're meant to have community. You're also meant to have a significant other, whatever that looks like for you.
Yes.
You are meant to have that. You're meant to connect. Source
Yes.
is in everyone and
Yeah.
everything. And
Hmm.
so when you understand the game, because that's part of the game,
Hmm.
you know that source is in everyone and in everything, and you start acting on source's frequency, which is love,
Hmm.
and also being neutral, because source is also neutral. Every
Hmm.
experience that you have, source is having it with you.
Hmm.
Every person,
Hmm.
little bitty baby, to those that may be locked up in jail, source is
Yes.
there too.
Yes.
Ever experiencing that you had, source was there.
Hmm.
Experience right with you, your trauma, your past pains, your heartache, your heartbreak. Source was there. Now, I'm hearing that it's always a question whether a person is religious or not, they're atheist or not, is that why will God allow quote unquote evil?
Mm.
Here's the answer to that. One, source is neutral.
Mm-hmm.
There is no good and bad with source.
Mm-hmm.
Source is in everything and it experience
Exactly.
everything. And so when you allow people, see, that's another thing that I hear judgment coming in on that,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to judge someone in order to say they're good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you are comparing it
Mm-hmm.
to make that person good or to make that person bad? What
Right.
comparison? And so the other thing is that that person has source. You're not judging a person, you're judging source
Mm-hmm.
because we're spiritual beings first.
Right.
Soul and
Yeah.
source together inside this body. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're judging a person, you're judging source.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you remain neutral, you okay, I'm hearing soul contract.
Well, yeah.
Everyone has a soul contract. So
Mm-hmm.
this is part of the game. These are the makeup, like, okay, spades. You all know spades got the rules, got whatever books you can't cut
Mm-hmm.
this, spade can't cut this, heart can't, whatever. They have rules. Well, so
Mm-hmm.
is the matrix game.
Mm-hmm.
And when you part of the matrix game is your soul contract. And having a soul contract is your soul and your source coming together, writing down every experience that you're going to have before you enter your body. So I
Mm-hmm.
hold your hand with so much love and compassion and let you know that all the shit that you went through, you did
Mm-hmm.
it to yourself. Be okay with that. So here's the question. Why would I do that to myself? Because
Right. Right.
here it is. So you remember who the fuck you are.
Thank. Well,
That's
I
why
can't pick up
yeah.
this mic and drop it, but yes.
It's a
Yes.
trigger. Everything you went through is a trigger. So if you, for just a moment, separate the feelings from the action, look at the action and say, what is it about this that I need to remember?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Your strength, your power, your worthiness, you're already loved. You're validated. You're validated because you're
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
All of the power and the strength, all of these things that you went through was to remind you, was to show you, was to put that big ass mirror in front of you
Yeah.
to show you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the feelings, you now release them because now you understand what happened. So you ain't got
Right.
feelings about it. Be like, okay, I did it to myself. That was a hard thing for me to do because I was like, why would I do myself like this?
Mhm.
And a lot of my trauma was a broken heart.
Yep.
But guess what? My mission and my purpose is to help heal the brokenhearted. I can't
Yes.
help a brokenhearted person walk down their path into divine love if it never happened to me. I wouldn't know which way to go. Would not
Right.
how to help. I wouldn't know how to do things. So this is the reason why you put all that fuckery inside your soul contract. Because you can't help this. If you decide that you just want to help somebody and you never went through it, that's the blind leading the blind.
Right. Exactly. Gosh, I had like a whole lot to say.
Come on,
What
let me
you
hear it. Let me hear
Oh my gosh.
it.
Okay. So yes, yes, yes to everything you just said. But I do want to point out that source and spirit, that's all energy.
Mhm.
And when we talk about frequency, it's the frequency of love. Love carries the highest frequency. What is love? Humanly, love is an emotion. What is emotion? Energy in motion,
Mhm.
right? And so source, when we talk about source, we're talking about the purest form of energy. Energy is not created nor destroyed. You just
Mhm.
transmute the energy. So a
Mhm.
lot of the things that we go through in life, is transmuting that energy that we've picked up over lifetimes, over generationally. That's why it's still, why is there generational curses? Because
Mhm.
that is energy that lied in our ancestral, in our lineage, that has spewed over because we didn't address that, or we didn't. Girl, you got me going. Okay, spirit got me going on a whole preaching topic right now. Anyways, so but it's spirit is just showing me the bigger picture of it all. That's why you have people doing all kinds of crazy things, because energetically they haven't closed that out generationally. Right?
Mhm.
And that's why too we keep going through those karmic loops. All right, there's something that we have to address in our lifetime so we don't have to keep going through those same things, and so our children or our children's
Right.
children or even other family members don't have to go through that, right? And to me, that was one of my biggest signs that I knew I had a calling on my life, is because I kept going through the same karmic cycles. And
Mhm.
sometimes, now I may be opening up a whole nother segment of something, but sometimes, a lot of the times, we can't pick up other energy,
Mhm.
other, I would say maybe entities that are
Mhm.
just on a lower frequency that came in our lifetime doing either some trauma, doing
Mhm.
some type of unhealed moment in
Mhm.
which that spirit or energy has latched on to us. But
Yeah, I call those open doors. People
open
have
door, yeah.
doors. Mhm.
And so it takes doing the work to release that, because no spirit has any control over you. No energy has any control over you. You own that power.
Say that I want look, come closer.
Girl,
Say that again.
no spirit and no
Mhm.
energy has any control over you. And that is the power in itself. If people understand, every emotion is just energy. And if you get triggered by something that somebody says, sit with yourself to
Mhm.
understand
And
why
wow.
that even triggered you energetically. Sit with
Mhm.
that. That's how you transmute energy. That's how you help the world heal, by becoming more aware of yourself. That's how you quantum leap, when
Mhm.
you are more aware with, like Miss Nikki said, who you are, and you understand why things get you on this lower frequency. And when we say lower frequency, again, if you're not moving from a space of love, it's a lower frequency, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't gotta be all
Mhm.
W da 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 da.
Guilt, shame, hate,
Right.
manipulation, all of these are fear, all of these are lower frequencies.
Thank
If it
you.
doesn't feel
Yeah.
good to you, it's a lower frequency.
Yes. If it doesn't feel good, it is like, girl. Whew. So yes. So that is the biggest, everything Miss Nikki said, all this energy and these nuggets that we are pouring into you, it's only because it's been what we've experienced throughout our lifetimes.
Yes.
And if you are, find you a community. If you struggle with like discernment, or, you know, how do I know if I have gifts? Is this such a real thing? There are so many communities out here now.
Wait a minute. When you say that now, I just heard church hurt. If you church hurt,
Girl, God bless it. So, yes, when I say find community, if you church hurt, I No, find you like a spiritual community, right? Like, and honestly, sometimes people just need therapy, point blank, period. Like,
Have a session. There's some set now. Speaking of that, having a session.
mhm.
What are some of the sessions that you offer just to help? Some people need that one-on-one guidance, that individual. It's good to hear. There's some people who can hear this group, will hear this podcast, and they'll be able to get some nuggets to help them move along the way. But then there are some who need specifics, who want to have that one-on-one
Yes.
session. How would
So,
what kind of sessions do you offer?
so I offer, I do mediumship and psychic. Those are just, some people just want a reading. Some people just want closure. Some people just want to connect. I also offer life coaching sessions. And so to your point, Miss Nikki, and what I was talking about earlier, ooh, that just that was a great segue that spewed over to this. Okay, y'all, we ain't practiced that. We ain't practiced that. That was pretty good. Anyway, so what I do is I offer a discovery call. So I'm a life coach and spiritual guide. And so I offer free discovery calls. And that's just like what I call a little quickie, just to get to know, just to connect with someone energetically, have a conversation with them, feel their energy, understand where they're coming from, and to see if I'm even the right fit for them, to help them. So look at me as you're the driver, I'm the passenger. All you got to do is just keep your eyes on the road, drive the vehicle, and I'm there being your accountability partner. I'm making sure that if you veer off, I get you back on track. But within that, I go deeper. I'm also certified as a quantum healer. It's through the Priestess Portal, so which is something that's always been in me, but I've actually activated. So what I do is I connect with the person's, sorry, pause, let me go back. So within the discovery call, I assess, are we a great fit? And so sometimes I will say, I don't think I can help you. You need to go to therapy, or me and your therapist can work together, right? Okay, so that's a discovery call. That's about 15 minutes, maybe 30, just depending on. And so then in a session, I really connect with the client's oversoul, right? So meaning I'm connecting with that highest version of themselves to help them, bring them back to who they are. So in this journey, my gift is being able to see these things, kind of like what you would call Akashic records. I go through a person's lifeline and their Akashic records to see where their trauma was, what's stopping them, what do they need to work on, what do they need to heal generationally or energetically, so they can stop having these same karmic loops, having these same cycles that don't serve them. And so we come up with a solution, whether it's journaling, whether it's meditation, whether it's going on a fast, whether it's honestly going outside and grounding yourself, hugging a tree, like sitting by the water. You might need to move. You might need to cut everybody off in your life. Every person is different, right? Some people are literally fighting a spiritual internal battle. And I do find a lot of my clients that do come to me, they are the ones meant to break the generational curses in their families.
Mhm.
Everybody that I've come in contact with or that's coming into, they've just been that one. And
Mhm.
and they literally just break down crying because I overstand where they come from, and I connect with my clients on a soul level. I help them with that, connect to the divine feminine within them. And that's also for men.
Right,
When
right.
men could connect with that, because they're already living in masculine energy, right?
Mhm.
But when they can connect with that divine feminine, it helps them to be able to communicate and speak from their heart, because we are the heart, and every woman is the heart. We are the womb, right? And so that's why you see this ankh symbol, circle of
Mhm.
life, right? The man and the woman. And so, anyways, I know I told a whole book, but that's what I do.
It's
I
quite all
connect
right.
with the divine feminine in people to bring them back to who they are, but I also go on a soul journey with them.
Okay, that's such a wonderful thing because I'm hearing that the collectives that are coming to you, especially with the generations and being able to connect, because I believe at this time, and I'm seeing it just even with just us in the portal, that the culmination of when we're healing, we're not just healing ourselves. We're healing our past ancestors, things that were caught up in the DNA, blockages and everything. That when we heal, we're healing generations behind, but also
Yes.
generations in front of us. And so that's such a powerful thing that, people, and I have nothing against therapy, nothing at all. I think that connecting therapy with the spiritual, because there's a lot of things that happen on a spiritual level that's not most times addressed in a therapy session. And there is a lot of things that happen in on the spiritual realm.
To
Because
your point, that's why I became a life coach. Because in
Mhm.
therapy, there is a box, right? You have to check certain boxes, and there are certain guides and regulations, but with life coaching, it's an open road, I should say. But sorry,
that
you hit the
That
nail on
part,
the head
yes.
at
And
that.
people need to understand that because I'm hearing in the collective is like, especially in our community, the melanated community, that
Well,
you don't go to therapy, you go to church. But okay, so being an ordained minister, coming out of the church and seeing some things that the manipulation and some of the things that happen, having those things and being, I was one, when I said church hurt, I was one of the ones that was church hurt. But I always had a connection. Yeshua is the master, ascended master Yeshua taught me, show me the differences of what was truth when it came to the church and when it came to him, and show me what the manipulation was. And
yes.
so separating that divine connection with God source within me, having the conversation, be able to ask questions with the expectation of having an answer,
Mm.
expecting an answer. Source will, whatever you say, it's a yes. Life and death lies in your
In the
tongue.
tongue, that part.
So when you want to complain and be shitty and be mean and all of that, Source is saying, yes, I'm going to give you
Hmm.
more of that because that is where you're operating. That's what you're feeling is your frequency. Your frequency is your magnet.
Yes.
And so bringing us all around to just the final thoughts of just understanding we're in a very unique time and space here and now where there's a culmination of past lifetimes coming into this lifetime.
Yes.
Generations and gifts are coming online. We're in the age of Aquarius, which is
Mm.
the truth. So a lot of shit's gonna be, don't panic. Don't be like, oh my goodness, my world is crumbling. No. What's happening is everything is being shook up and the
Mhm.
shit is falling off because it doesn't serve you. Let it fall
Yep.
off. Let it
Hmm.
fall off. And what's going to stay, the saying, and I'm telling my age, don't throw the baby out with the bath water.
Oh gosh, I haven't heard that in a minute.
Don't throw that baby out with that bath water.
What you
You
talk
know,
about? She's 25. You just know stuff going on. That's all.
just allow the tower moments to happen
Hmm.
because what's happening is the matrix has put some shit on you that's not supposed to be there. It's
Hmm.
causing chaos. It's causing depression. It's causing you to be hurt. And when
Mhm.
these things come up, cry, scream, go outside, beat up on a pillow, get up. What we
Yes.
the punching bags? Get one of
Yes.
them and go at
Yes.
and release,
No.
release,
And
release.
release. But that's so true. You say we're in the age of Aquarius and we're also in the year 9. So
Yeah.
year 9 is I mean, we're in y'all, that's why all this stuff is happening this year. Like literally, like numbers carry frequency. Numbers are energy. The matrix programming numbers. So anyways, we're in a year 9 and it is the end of a whole cycle where things that, like Miss Nikki was saying, that don't serve you. That's why when I have people that come to me be like, why is this person, this lover I had is coming back into my life? Why is this happening? Da 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 da.
In the block.
Right. Because it is something that you need to clear out of your
Clear. Mhm.
system and out of your lifeline. So when you move into this new year, we're also going into a new earth, a second Christ, and the essence of
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
second Christ consciousness. But this is the year 9 where we complete things that don't serve us. Now, there are some people that will still walk into the new year with the same old toxicities, the same old mindset, but that's for them. When you know
Right.
better, you do better,
Now
right?
there are some soul contracts
That's what
that
that's,
that came down here to do fuckery, and that's all they're gonna do.
yes,
Because you
yes,
got the divine polarity. You have
the
those who are
polarity,
going to wake up and raise the frequency
yes,
and do all of these things. There has to be an opposite.
an opposite, exactly, yin and yang, yes, I
And let people
totally
be who they are. That's a
agree.
them problem. I said, let people be who they are. That's a them problem,
Yes,
you problem.
because we do need that, because if things were always constant or didn't change, we wouldn't evolve, right? So we have to have that polarity in order so we don't get content, so we can grow and we can project those versions of ourselves that we want to see and be, right? And so a lot of people are awakening right now. A lot of people have come out of the matrix. Like it is just your time. So, I like whoever's listening to this, this is how you win right now. Know who
Mhm.
you are. Understand you, because the more that you understand you and how you show up in the world and who you are, the more you become a magnet to that. And that's where manifestation
Mhm.
starts, is aligning yourself, getting rid of all that lower frequency, knowing who you are, and being able to project that better version of yourself so you can become a magnet for abundance, for that good life. People, we can live a good, sweet life like we have always been intended to live. A life of love.
Exactly. So if there's one thing that you can leave with the collective right now to send them on um, a path tonight, something that they could utilize to help elevate themselves tonight, what would that be?
At first I was going to say journal, but parts of me actually wants to say to ground yourself in your own energy.
Mm.
And if you don't know what that is or what that means, that's just simply sitting, I don't know, 5 minutes or so in silence, imagining roots growing from your feet and centering yourself in the earth and ground yourself and say, I ground myself in my own energy. I ask for Source to put a white light of protection around me, and I am safe in who I am supposed to be. And every day, just ground yourself in that love and sit in that love and call on your spirit guides, call on your elevated team, talk to Source, and just continue to be aware of who you are.
Oh, I love all of this segment was so
Mm-hmm.
powerful. And I enjoy you. I thank you for coming on. And we'll have to have you come back sometime soon and we can just continue going and pour into this collective. And guys, I thank you for watching this episode. There's more to come and just help you. We are all lights that are on
Yes.
that are helping others to build more lights. The more frequencies that we can help raise, we raise the frequency of the planet. And this is
Yes.
how we don't focus on all the negative things that are happening. When we raise our frequencies to the love frequency, and if you see each person all around the world raising their own frequency to the love frequency, it changes the energy of the
Mhm.
planet. Wars will stop. People will be able to have conversations. There's compassion, there's empathy, because that's what is the love frequency. So if you take care of yourself on your journey, becoming your authentic self, that is the best thing you can do for this planet. So thank you for coming and listening to Guided Paths, and we will talk to you later. Bye.